Hello everybody and welcome back to Kharak Cup 6. We're going to jump right into the semifinals today. And I am very excited for this one. It's going to be between Descara and Garmilator. These people have produced quite good finals before even. Yeah, this is going to be an awesome match really, I believe. The map here is going to be the Shallows, and this one should have been Garmilator's pick. And I actually find that a little bit interesting. I would have thought he would pick a different map, but players of these caliber, I honestly don't think they care that much which map they play on, to be frank. Both players, of course, playing as the Coalition here. Garmilator had been looking a little bit out of practice so far in this tournament, and Descara has really he's been on it. Garmilator going to go, of course, with his typical LAV opener here. Sometimes he does mix that up against Descara, but that is going to be the choice here. I have the strangest feeling I'm not recording right now. Yeah, no, I am. I'm just so spooked because of that one time that I wasn't. Anyway. Opening for Descara, probably going to be support cruiser first here, making the two salvagers at the beginning. Still no LAV tech even. The question, I suppose, is going to be, can Garmilator get some damage done with his LAVs? Can he get some map presence, try to extract more artifacts? What he often does after he gets some early game LAVs like this is that he, I could be completely wrong and he might be going for support cruiser first as well, but he did get LAV fabrication before that, so I really don't think that's going to be the case. But yeah, what we've seen him do before is, yeah, there's the LAVs being queued up to make two base runners actually. Try to get a double extraction right in the early game, and that's going to help him a lot later on when we get to the carrier battles. We'll have to see. Descara's support cruiser about to finish here. Whoa, excuse me. I always have the worst hiccups when I start recording, but if I do like 10 videos or whatever, like the hiccups are gone by the end. It's the weirdest thing. Base runner almost finding a couple shots against that probe, but not quite. And you can tell Descara definitely playing a bit more of a passive style right here. Support cruiser is finished. He's going to move his carrier out to his second. Here comes the stream of LAVs. Oh, and Descara going to lose his probe there. That's pretty sad for him. 100 CUs smashing into the desert there. Whoa. Look at the camera. Oh boy. There's an angle of the shallows you never wanted to see. Look at that. It looks like a vein in the sand there. That's weird. What is this? What is this? Anyway, LAVs are here for Garmilator. Turret is ready to be deployed for Descara if you should need that. He's going to prefer not to deploy one, though, if he doesn't have to, mind you. AV fabrication on the way for him. Going to finish in about 20 seconds. That's really the closure of this window in which these LEDs can do some damage. So they're going to want to force a turret placement down as fast as they can, I believe. And Descara is indeed going to place down a turret there. Garmilator may choose to back away now. Once again, Descara placing his carrier in this position here, where it's halfway between the two resourcing locations. No, he's not. I'm just... yeah, never mind. No, ignore everything I say. That's generally a good idea. Garmilator once again with the accidental carrier move out, but he's going to correct that now. Still got quite a number of LAVs here, but with the turret in position right there, there's nothing he's going to be able to do to break into here without taking significant losses. And an AV is going to pop out right here, which should be able to suppress and get a kill on one more of these LAVs, possibly even two. He might get two here. So things are looking very good for Descara already. Garmilator is going to get that double extraction, and he is now going to get up onto two bases, so it all depends if he considers that worth it or not. AAV's finding a really nice, actually, angle to get up next to that turret. But Descara, probably in the senses menu, didn't realize that it wasn't actually getting shot at. He's going to pop smoke in kind of an awkward location, then get shot at on the way out anyway. But I think he could have cleared out that turret, actually. One LAV for Descara, just going to be super annoying, just kind of chew up this salvager. And is going to see, actually, that there is no one... or only one salvager anyway, long distance mining off of this location here. Probably senses essentially what the economic situation for Garmilator is going to be at this point. And we may see him get another support cruiser pretty soon. Wouldn't be a bad move. Meanwhile, though, he's going for fighter and gunship fabrication. I like this choice. It's so spicy. I think that could be really strong. Another thing to note here, Garmilator had field control, so why would he go for that artifact? This one just makes more sense, right? That's a really nice move. Because then if Descara wants to get an extraction, he has to go all the way over here, and that's going to be a lot more difficult. It's just little things like that that these players do make a big difference. I would have thought at least one of these base runners has to be killed here. Probably just one of them. I think this one's going to get away. Then again, there are these two AVs here that can cut it off if they want to. But yeah, Descara definitely having control of the field at the moment. The Garmilator has got railgun fabrication. He should be ready to punish these AAVs with some railguns of his own, and his carrier is quite a lot powered up, so he's going to be just fine. Not going to get pushed into his eco or anything like that by these AAVs, but Descara is still enjoying quite a degree of field control, and actually moving out with the carrier? That's got to be a mistake, but a misclick of some kind. Yeah, I thought so. I was going to say, that would be a very bold move if you were actually to move out like that. You know, I thought for sure a base runner would go down there, but it's actually gotten out with about half health left. Could have a little base runner race here so you can get to the artifact first, but it is indeed going to be Descara. There are, however, railguns in the area, and they're going to start slamming some shots into that base runner. Air units are in the on the way now for Descara. He's got 4 of them in the air, with a 5th one just kind of in the hangar, chilling out. Didn't want to take part in the mission, I suppose. It's kind of funny. Oh yeah, no, never mind. I thought I was getting launched right there. So one railgun goes down now for Garmilator. Air tech is revealed, so he knows about this. I'd like to see him just take out his turret here. He is indeed going to do that. Oh, very nearly lost an AAV meanwhile, but looks like he wants to go after this base runner now. Not a bad move, because the first thing that Garmilator is going to think as far as anti-air goes is, well, I can make base runner anti-air turrets. That's not going to be the case here, as one of the base runners does go down already. What other targets could Descara go for? I mean, I feel like anything is open at this point. Support cruiser anti-air is on the way, but not for another 40 seconds. He may be out of missiles here, but if not, he could have also gone for more eco damage, gotten another railgun, something like that. But the pickups that he did get are not bad at all, so he'll be happy with that, I'm sure. And that was railgun fabrication that he just got. He's going to begin producing those immediately. Heavy vehicles, armor 2 as well coming out. As for Garmilator, still no upgrades on basically anything, just the support cruiser anti-air, and this is definitely his style. One artifact is on the way to extract, another one has been picked up, a third one is ready to be picked up here by Descara, and look at this, you know, just the second these two players have field control, they're immediately going for artifacts. I really like that. I really like that. In A-Game's patch, for example, like the base runner costs more money now, and yet people still will immediately go for it once they have field control. You know, it's very important to get those artifacts when you have field control. That's one thing that I think I could work on in particular. Probably wants to grab this one, but he does have one extraction already now. That one gets picked up there, and they're beginning to research power reserves, but Descara a little bit ahead in that race. As I tab between them ridiculously faster. Trying to get the replay viewer to bug out, but it really will not. But Majira has done a good job on this one. Another support cruiser coming out for Descara, and that's of course what you would do to free up your carrier to move. Same from Garmilator, he's got one over here, actually a little bit faster, and he does have the anti-air now, and so that support cruiser is definitely going to hold off his bases from any like air attacks. Interestingly, moving out with the carrier as the support cruiser, that may be just a mistake, but I don't know. A couple of railguns in the area going to try to do some damage to Garmilator's army here. The carrier is rather powered up, actually. Uh-oh, and Descara does not want to come in here. There is actually anti-air there. Probably wants to dock this guy immediately. He's going to come back in for another pass. It's very risky, but his micro is good. He's not going to lose anyone. Another artifact is going to score for Descara, but I find it unlikely that third one will make it out. So he's going to have to hold on to this one at the base. Yeah, he sees that. I thought for a second that turret was going to scare away Garmilator's army there. I was like, what is going on here? But what's the railgun count like now? Pretty much dead even. As far as power reserves go, though, Descara is significantly in the lead, and he does have armor 2 for his heavy vehicles there. Mag accelerator certainly coming soon as well. Good damage done to those railguns there also. But no kills though, and I think these will get healed up by the support cruiser. There is also quite a significant anti-air force in that area, so. And yeah, so Garmilator, interestingly, choosing to have this support cruiser run with its carrier rather than on the eco to just heal it up there. As a result, his carrier is pretty much on full health, which is nice, but I think he's lost a little bit of money that way. Another support cruiser comes out though. This one can stick with the carrier, do anti-air, heal up these railguns. That one, of course, not tied down to any bases or anything like that. Quite a lot of railguns now out for Descara, and he's kind of enjoying a bit more freedom as to like where he moves these things. He doesn't have to worry about anti-air. He is the guy with the air force. And actually that support cruiser for Garmilator moves away, allowing these strike fighters to come in and do their thing, and they're going to get 2 pickups, I think. Oh, grievous damage on those railguns right there. Garmilator forced back a little bit, and Descara being up on this high ground position is not helping him. And that was a pretty bad fight there. He lost 3 railguns, I think, for nothing. Puts him pretty significantly behind in the railgun war there. Power Reserve 5 also probably pretty soon going to be on the way for Descara. I imagine we'll see him click on that any minute now. There you go. He's going to have the cruise missile first, he has the higher railgun count, and he has air power. I don't know, this is looking really good for Descara. I think he probably just takes this one at this point. Air units are still prowling the skies. They're probably going to go after this base runner. And what's the anti-air to stop this, you know? Okay, actually there is a support cruise in the area which picks off 1 strike fighter. That's a nice pickup there. Air units being deployed against that base runner still, doing good damage, but I don't think they'll be able to get the kill. It's too close to this AA. But now there's quite a number of railguns here pushing in on this flank. All of Garmilator's railgun kind of on the other side, so his carrier could take a lot of damage here, but there's no line of sight actually, so not going to lose anything just yet. More support cruisers being made now from Descara. He did not actually have any of them on his carrier. That's important to know, but he hasn't taken any damage on it just yet either. Generally in these fights, range tends to be the really important thing, as you can then shoot at opponent railguns if they're too close to you. So that seems to be what he's powering up right there. Also getting assault cruiser fabrication. Definitely wants to move into artillery. I don't think assault cruisers really make much sense in this composition here, but that is of course the intermediate tech unit. These AAV's going to shut down this artifact right here, but that one looks like it actually will score probably. This is definitely where Garmilator's army has been moving, but I think that Descara has the advantage so long as the armies are in different positions. Power Reserve 5 is finished, by the way, and 1 cruise missile right here looks pretty deadly to me. If Descara can figure out where it is, he could get a massive hit right there. Alternatively, he could just go for the carrier kill with that railgun if he has, or with the cruise missile, and that seems to be what he's going for. Oh, but Garmilator launches it too at the same time. I didn't even see that coming, and it's going to be right on the railguns. Suddenly, this is quite risky for Descara, but he's done so much damage to Garmilator. If his carrier goes down here, it won't matter at all. And it's very close. The smoke there from the AAVs denying any railgun kills from Garmilator. And his carrier's at 1,000 health here. It's got to go down for sure, I would have thought. No, it's gonna make it. So Garmilator's carrier survives there actually, but he is definitely pinned in now. And I think that Descara may just be able to kind of roll his way up here with his carrier, and he should perhaps be fine. Probably could launch the air units as well, just for why not, but no, that's a bad idea. But despite all of that, Descara is indeed going to win the railgun war here. And that is because Garmilator's carrier cannot really take part in this fight. It has to just be healing itself here. Air unit's going to launch now. Oh, but it looks like Descara Garmilator just chose to GG out of the game at that moment. He knew it was over. CBC, man, it's always so stressful right at the end there. You never quite know what's going to happen, but Descara did have the lead in power, he had the lead in railguns, he had the lead in a lot of things. It looked like that was a pretty clean kill from there, just it got a little bit sketchy right at the end because all those railguns got taken out by that cruise missile, but well done to Descara. I think he out-Garmilator'd Garmilator, which is pretty cool. Just the CBC meta, man, it's so weird. Anyway, let's move on to the next map and see what these players are going to choose to do there. Let's open up map 2 here. Alright. Discord is telling me I have 9+ notifications. I'm not excited for this. Okay, the map is going to be Kalash Teeth. This one being Descara's pick, of course. We've seen these players play on Kalash Teeth before. Generally, when they've played on this map, they've opened up a lot of AAVs. They try to like outposition each other with turrets. So I think we'll see something very different than what we saw in the Shallows, which is a bit more of an economic build for Descara. And I've got to say, that map really seemed like Garmilator went for his LAV opening, but wasn't able to get too much value out of it, and Descara was just kind of a punch ahead for the whole game there, you know. I don't think that that was a very good map pick for Garmilator. If this is actually Garmilator's map pick and the Shallows was Descara's, that would make more sense, but it would be incorrect order. But that may have happened. There was a bit of confusion in the game. I'm sure Descara will clear that all up in the comments if he remembers. Both players getting LAV fabrication at pretty much exactly the same time, and you can see it by the resource bar that Descara is doing quite a few quick drops. Garmilator not such a fan of that, doesn't seem to want to be doing those. But that means they are indeed going for AAVs, I'm quite certain of it. It's 350 by 85 to get AAV fabrication. So a little quick drop on that RU salvager will ensure that you have the resources for it, and he techs up to AAV fabrication immediately. Garmilator going to be a little bit behind in that regard. He actually has made 2 salvagers over to the second location. He started with 4 on CUs, and so he's going to be a little bit behind in AAV fabrication, but he will be slightly ahead in eco, just slightly. Yeah, it's very interesting how AAV fabrication takes 85 RUs, because you're never going to end up with 85 of them, you know what I mean? Like, you have to quick drop to get that number. It's kind of weird that way. Anyway, AV fabrication now available for Garmilator. I'm sure he's going to click on this pretty soon. No, he's not going to. How interesting. Garmilator maybe choosing to mix things up and go for railguns first here. And that would be very unexpected. Descara not going to see that coming if that is indeed the case. He hasn't clicked on anything just yet, so he may be going support cruiser first even. Watch his breed. Yeah, he's going for a support cruiser. So this is very aggressively economic. It's very interesting to see from Garmilator. We're not expecting that on this map, and that may catch Descara off guard if he's expecting kind of the, the typical turret game. Seeing these 4 LAVs is definitely already going to be a warning flag for him, because if Garmilator knows that there's AAVs coming out on the field, why is he making those? He's going to have to kind of be thinking about that. This base runner, in fact, taking a lot more damage than Descara probably is comfortable with. The turret is set up for Garmilator, and it does take out 1 LAV that was out there to scout for Descara. Smoke comes down on the base runner. It is going to keep it alive there, and the AAV can chase those off, but with that little health... Oh, and there's even a turret there. But with that little health, this base runner is not really feeling too safe. He is going to go for the extraction anyway, though. Support cruiser is out for Garmilator, and he's getting railgun fabrication. He needs to have those railguns out by the time these AAVs get there, and Descara, I think, can smell the blood in the water. He knows, yeah, my opponent did not go for AAVs. I can do some damage here. These LAVs are in a nice position to cut off the artifact, though, and I think they will, and it is going to distract Descara. He's going to move back there to try and hold. Does not want to lose that artifact in the early game. Meanwhile, Garmilator 100% going to score his. There's nothing here that's going to stop it. The AAVs cannot really pressure this turret without focusing so heavily on the turret that they'll let the artifact through. Descara now going for a support cruiser of his own. And he's telling his carrier to move all the way over here. That's kind of funny. But we may see kind of the inverse of last game. That's kind of what I feel like is happening here. Where last game, Garmilator went for these LAVs in the early game, didn't really get too much value out of it, though, and he was 1 step behind the whole time. Well, now it seems like it's Descara who's 1 step behind, doesn't it? As Garmilator accused of a second support cruiser, he's going to be turbo economic right here. Descara going to hope to save this base runner, but I don't think that's going to be a reality. Carrier is here, ready to punish, and that base runner will have to go down. Turrets show up in the area for Descara, or turrets, AAVs. Oh, that one does get sniped, actually. But I gotta say, I love this from Garmilator, just mixing things up so much, keeping his opponent on his toes. He really does not know what he's going to be up against. AAV tries to set up a second turret there, and actually, oh, that was so loud. Descara decides he can't fight this one. He is going to back away, using that smoke to get out of there with his AAV. And look at that, he stays right on the edge there. Is he out of range? No, he's not. Oh, Descara, move, move, move. I was going to say that was really cool, like he knows exactly how much range the turret. Well, apparently he doesn't quite, but still pretty close. But you know, look at the field here. I mean, Garmilator has got railguns already for these AAVs from his opponent. He's got the more powered carrier, I believe. I think he's doing really well. I think he's doing really well. I would like to see him get onto a third base here. That's what I would like to see. Based on how this carrier's moving back and forth, that may be the case. Maybe he told it to move there. Sometimes the coalition carrier has some trouble like that. I like to describe it as handling like a dishwasher, you know. No, so he's just backing up to over here. It's interesting. Is Garmilator setting up another turret? Oh boy. Yeah, so Garmilator really concerned that these AAVs do not get control of this area, but I think they're going to anyway. Wow, they didn't even get a single AAV kill. That's actually quite unexpected right there. But yeah, there you go. So Garmilator's on his third base, and I don't see any signs that Descara is going to be on 3 bases anytime soon here. I think Garmilator is just one step ahead. He's making double support cruiser now. Probably going to move out with his carrier pretty soon. Got the railguns in position here, which is nice. The turrets bought him the time that he needed. No smokes left on these AAVs, so that they should just go down. And I really feel like he's got good field control. He's got good everything, really. Upgrades are better for Descara, I will say that, and that could make a huge difference if there's a railgun fight right here. I don't like how Garmilator doesn't go for upgrades. It really seems quite dangerous to me, but I think he is just kind of one step ahead here. Heavy Vehicles 3 coming out here along with Mag Accelerator, and he may have the high ground if there's an engagement here. That would be disastrous for Garmilator. Even though it's a 3-on-2, he can't win that. But fortunately for him, that engagement is not going to go down there. Support cruiser kind of getting blocked by the carrier here, as it does. That's always pretty funny. Trying to find his way around, but he really just does not know how to go backwards. Pathfinding for coalition units is a little tricky sometimes, you see. Power Reserve 3 now on the way. Really, it is like a mirror image of last game, you know what I mean? Probe gonna get taken out here, which is good for Garmilator, because he wouldn't like to take this fight. And the probe, of course, would be giving vision for it, but his probe is also doing the same. Ooh, probably wants to move that probe out of there, because he does not want to take the rail fight right now. Assault Cruiser Fabrication once again coming out for Descara, and last time he didn't really get to use it all. He won too quickly, oh no. But this time we may see Siege play a big role. And who can blame him? I mean, this is Kalash Teeth. This is the map, you know what I mean? Whoa! Whoa, 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 whoa. Careful now. The turret does its best job against the carrier. Das ist funny. No luck there. So Garmilator's carrier going to step on that turret and start taking a very aggressive, you know, middle of the map position. He's got lots of base runners now. Wants to go for quite a few artifact extractions, it looks like. And he's on Power Reserve 4 pretty soon. Still no upgrades on these units. You know, he's Garmilator. He don't need no upgrades. I'd like to see him make more railguns. I feel like he must have a lot of no, not really. Power Reserves are expensive, I suppose. Probe gets sniped here by, was it Support Cruiser Anti-Air? No, it's just the LAV. This time, Descara not going for air units at all, but Garmilator is ready for him should he choose to. He has got the anti-air upgrade for his units over there. Whew, excuse me. Lots of build up here to kind of a big fight that I feel coming on. But Garmilator has got 3 artifacts in his hands. One of them going to go out very quickly. But 2 more still being held, and if those 2 extract, he could be in a very nice situation. Powers are 4 finishing, and he'll certainly power up the range here. Probably wants to power up the weapons as well. Or do something at least. Carrier is going to get harassed a bit by these railguns here. He's going to have to back away. No, he's going to go forward? No, he's going to back away. But in sort of awkward manner. You know how these carriers are. Powers are 5 is on the way though. Descara now researching artillery cruiser fabrication, just now getting onto that 3rd base. Honestly, I think that Garmilator should take the fight as early as possible. He may be waiting for Powers 5 to finish, but I think he should really just go for it. Certainly I'd like to see him power up these systems though, but that's a small thing I suppose. LAVs seem to be ready to go in for a little bit of a backstab. There are 2 AAVs here as well as a turret that shouldn't do too well. Yeah, I powered up the range, but see, he's got 2 power. I might as well put that in the weapons, I feel. You know what I gotta say about Descara's playstyle is that, sometimes I've expressed kind of frustration that it's like, oh, you don't even use units, really. But what I do like about it is that it's very much not, you know, the norm. It's not just like the typical, oh yeah, well now we'll make AAVs and then we'll move into railguns and stuff like that. It's like, it's very atypical, and I do tend to enjoy that. Okay, Powers 5 is finished. He knows the location of all these railguns. Probably ought to launch the new cruise missile, and there it is. Descara sees it, he's going to try to back away, but I think he's going to take a lot of losses here, and this could just be game. Oh, look how many railguns that was! That was worth losing 2 artifacts for sure. And now, suddenly, and it hit the carrier too! That was the best cruise missile I've ever seen. And now Garmilator can just steamroll his way in here, there's nothing to stop him. This has got to be game for sure. Artillery cruisers are on the way, but that's not going to make enough of a difference. What a surprise. I'm sure Descara kind of sensed that he may have been behind in this game, but that was probably not something he was expecting. Immense damage being done to the eco, that doesn't even really matter here. The railguns can take out that carrier for sure at this point. And Powers 5 is nowhere near. That must be game. Garmilator don't need mag accelerator, man. He's gonna win the game before he gets it. It's just like, that's crazy to me because this is one of the most basic upgrades for Coalition. He's just like, nah, you know, I'll get it if I need it. Craziness. Well done to Garmilator. Really mixed things up a lot. You know, we were not expecting that at all, and it worked out big time. I love that when players sense that they're behind in a series or whatever, that they try to mix things up and, you know, do something crazy, and it works. And he got a kill. Excellently done right there. And that means we're going to have an ace match for the first time so far in this tournament, actually, which is kind of funny. Let me just move on to that one. I just put it in my replay folder. Let's just look at the eco tab here real quickly. Oh, yeah, look at that. Not like massive or anything. We've seen bigger this tournament, but still pretty big. Pretty big difference there in the economy, I think it shows. Last map is going to be the Boneyard, and this is Garmilator's pick here. This is one of his like favorite maps, I think. At any rate, he really likes playing this one with me. This is a fun map from the campaign, of course. Kind of an interesting one. The spawns are like, they're rather different, but kind of in a similar way, if that makes sense. But most players would prefer getting the one spawn that's over here than the spawn that's over here. At least I would. Or, wait, is that true? Other way around, sorry. They would prefer to get this spawn here, rather than this one over here. This one here is just a little bit easier to attack, and your second location is kind of like downhill, just enough to give you like the downhill advantage, or disadvantage that is. This one seems a lot more harder to attack because of this hill right here. And you also have a hill right here that can act sort of as like your first line of defense, so this tends to be a good map for whoever spawns here, and Descara is going to get that spawn. That shouldn't be too much of a difference. This map is still always very much up in the air. And I think player 2 does tend to have an easier time extracting as well, so that's always nice for them. Also, look how long that runway is, man. Stretches out as far as the eye can see. I found a position where I can slowly zoom the camera further and further out than it's supposed to go. Yes. Isn't that cinematic? Oh, yeah. Now I look like a professional caster, in that I have no idea what's going on in the game. I'm not paying attention at all. But anyway, what is going on in this game, hey? Looks like probe for Descara, finding that base runner in the aggressive location. LAVs are out on the way, probably going to catch that as well. Descara, meanwhile, has gone for support cruiser first. Oh, excuse me. And I'm not surprised that he's launching a probe here because Garmilator has been mixing things up in this series, doing some kind of unexpected strategies, and so Descara is going to want to see just what's going on there. He's going to see no tech on that carrier, he's going to see many LAVs. It's going to be typical Garmilator things, and the probe should get shot down right there. AAV fabrication on the way now for Descara. These LAVs won't really be able to do much, but they have gotten field control for a short time. And this turret here is in a really nice location to stop Descara from extracting very easily. Garmilator probably wants to pick this up, take it out to the extraction zone. I'm sure he'll do that any minute now. There you go. But Descara should not be forced to make any turrets here. I don't think he's going to need to do that. He has enough LAVs to respond anyway if he gets attacked in this main. Of course, the support cruiser's healing would be enough to keep those LAVs alive. And he has got AAVs on the way now to defend this location. LAV's taking a very disadvantageous fight here, though. One gets taken down for almost nothing. But the AAV will be in position to defend, and so one LAV loss is not a huge deal. Salvager's getting attacked first. Probably a good idea. There's no way he's going to get this support cruiser after all. But I don't think he'll get the Salvager either. This AAV definitely in position to stop him. Whoa, a little close for comfort there, buddy. And now he's going to try, Descara that is going to try to stop this artifact from extracting. Probe is going to see the turret location. He's not going to be caught off guard by that one. He may get caught up, how to say, like intercepted by these LAVs. Yeah, he will. So that's actually a nice pickup there for Garmilator. But I think he's going to lose, I mean, he's definitely going to lose the base runner, but is he going to lose the artifact? That's the real question. Oh, it's going to be close. I think he makes it. Never ask me if he's going to make it or not. Clearly, I'm just always wrong. That is going to get sniped right before it gets to where I wanted to go. So that's pretty bitter for Garmilator. He's really going to wish he had that one. Meanwhile, Descara once again going for fighter and gunship fabrication, and Descara last time had gotten support cruiser anti-air rather early in response to this. We'll see if that's going to be the choice for him this time. That would be very prudent to say the least, and he does have the resources for it, or at least he's got the RUs, which is what really matters there. Very RU heavy tech right there. Oh, excuse me. Looks like Descara expanding to his last location here with a support cruiser. He's going to be on 3 base, looks like before his opponent. It is going to be support cruiser anti-air from Garmilator, and this is before he saw this area, mind you, so very clairvoyant of him, I must say. He is not, however, expanding that 3rd location just yet. So his hope is that he'll be able to do some damage in some metric here, but otherwise he will just very slowly fall behind. We've seen that before. I'm curious to see when Descara reveals his air tech, because he has launched with only 1 of them actually, and now he's built up to 3 here. He's gonna go in just now with only 3. Gonna just weed out that turret. It's always a nice pickup. May go for the probe as well. Why not? Wanted to get some hits on that base runner, but the strike fighters refused to shoot. They couldn't fire on civilians. Gonna just go ahead and take out this probe as well. That seems like all the damage he's gonna get with these first strike fighters. At least that's what I would expect. I would dock if I were him, just because I've used so many missiles already. If I do find a really nice target of opportunity, I'm not really gonna be able to capitalize on it. Let's see here. Still no sign of support. No, yeah, there is actually one. Support crews are about to finish now for Garmilator, so he will be on 3 base, not very far behind. Descara gonna go for a second artifact pickup right here. This is pretty darn close to Garmilator's carrier though, and Garmilator may be trying to deny this now. Support crews are moving out very far forward, so definitely no strike fighter shenanigans gonna go on right here. And he should get that. Artifact. Yep, there you go. But there's a little bit of a backstab coming in now. However, there is a turret to defend. Doesn't look like Descara gonna get too much value out of that one here. But he does pick up this artifact here. He's also gonna pick up that one there. So Descara definitely with field control here. Double support cruiser popping out of Garmilator, so he's ready to mobilize his carrier. Descara a little bit ahead in the power reserves though. The carrier just like literally sandwiches or smashes this support cruiser, but that's alright. Physics don't really matter too much after all. Let's see, who has the railgun numbers at this point? Pretty much even again. But I think that Descara, he's gotten mag accelerator already, he's gotten heavy vehicles 1. So, but once again, he's got the upgrade edge. And now we've seen what Garmilator is able to do without the railgun edge, or without the upgrade edge there, but normally that involves him having many numbers, and I feel like this time they're pretty much even. He may even be a little bit behind. What an interesting design for a strike fighter, by the way. It's quite an interesting one. Let's see here. So Descara does have 2 artifacts in his hands. And he's going to want to be able to use these, or score these here, but he needs to get control of this area, and Garmilator definitely focusing his attention over there. Garmilator would love to extract in the meantime, but he can't, of course. Those artifacts are still on cooldown, which is nice for Descara. Power Reserve 4 coming out at pretty equivalent times here, but amazingly Garmilator is now ahead in this regard. Still falling a little bit behind in the railgun numbers, but he does manage to pick one off with the LEDs there, and now he looks actually... Oh, he's not falling behind. He was even, but now he's ahead. So, this is actually starting to look quite good for Garmilator. Poor probes, man, they're always just getting killed like that. This base runner here probably going to drop down a turret to get rid of these AAVs. Probably wants to do it right next to the support cruiser though, just to increase the longevity of it. Whoa, there's 2 turrets here already. Never mind, I don't think he even needs it, but he's going to do it anyway. Wow. This base will not be attacked. No chance of that, let me tell you. Looks like that turret is gonna just barely die there. It's very close though. How the railgun count's looking? Looks like Descara is now ahead. Garmilator has not really been producing them. He does have Power Reserve 5 on the way though. That's what he's been saving his money for. So this cruise missile shot, if it's money, he could win. If it's not, Descara could. I feel like that's pretty much the situation right here, to be honest. And Descara looks like he's ready to go up to 5 pretty much after the carrier production upgrade is finished. So just there's a little window here of about, how long is it? 70 seconds that Garmilator has got the cruise missile and Descara does not. Meanwhile, he's going to fly his strike fighters over here, but they're just going to get massacred. This is pretty painful. Strike fighters all get taken out right there. Power Reserve 5 on the way for Descara, so Garmilator's got to make this cruise missile count. But he doesn't see any targets just yet. He doesn't even have the money for it, really, but I'm sure he will soon. There's the cruise missile, but that has got to be a miss. Oh, Descara, move your guys out of the way. No, they're fine, they're fine. That is kind of a miss there. Some railgun's going to go down to these LAVs right here, but Garmilator now going to feel very confident, or sorry, Descara going to feel very confident moving in, I think. Actually, what are the railgun counts looking like now? 6 to 6, but he's got the upgrade lead, doesn't he? Mag Accelerator, not even researched for Garmilator. Of course, you can see this if you click on your opponent's units. He's going to feel pretty confident moving in now. So in he goes with his carrier there. Power Reserve 5 on the way. Following up with a cruise missile that takes out these railguns, he could really be in a position to finish this game off here. This is the final battle, make no mistake. It must end here, I believe. Descara taking so much damage, though. He's moving way too far forward right here. Cruise missile going to come out in a very nice location. They're going to catch all these units off guard here, but look how far forward his carrier is there. Railguns go down. There's still one up. Descara's damage output is higher, but look how much damage he's taking. He's having to run back over this hill here. Has he got AVs to smoke? He does. But just barely. This is going to be really close right here. Oh, what an overextension from Descara, but with the smoke there, he's blocking off line of sight. Garmilator can't get a shot on him. Oh, he's like one missile barrage away from dying there. His smokes have to be perfect at this point. There's some more missiles from Garmilator's carrier hitting home, but not getting the kill there. And Garmilator will go down. 3% health on that coalition carrier. Look at that, 970 health. That is insanity. Definitely a big overextension by Descara right there. He could have launched the cruise missile from, you know, back here or something. It would have been just fine. But he, you know, he wanted something exciting, you know what I'm saying? Now, fun fact, the way that this actually happened was that the game desynced at this point. But it was pretty clear to all that Garmilator was going to lose, and so they called it a GG for Descara. In fact, you can see the railgun slug that would kill him. It's like right there, or if not that one, then, you know, one of these ones that's getting ready to fire. But, you know, Descara is actually out of smokes, but still, it was definitely game at this point. But what a funny game, you know, how much closer could this have gotten? And then to desync right there, it's just, it's too good. BBI trolling us here. But Descara is going to take the win there. Very narrowly, very narrowly. And that was an excellent best of 3. Excellent best of 3 right there. Apparently I'm paused. Oh, it won't let me escape.